The parameter connection editor will allow you to set keyframe relationships between multiple parameters and different objects, or the same objects if you decide to. It'll allow you to get pretty complex effects relatively simply. So one way to do this is to find a parameter, and anywhere you have a keyframeable attribute, you're able to do this. So in this instance, I want to move my afro here and rotate my eyes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the parameters that I want to, I'm going to select the objects that I'm going to want to affect. And here I have my multi-PPG of my kinematics property, and I want to drive my Y rotation. So I'm going to just right click here and just go to parameter connection editor. This is going to load both objects into the parameter connection editor. And another way to get this window is if you just went to view animation, and you can find it here. But doing it this way, it loads the objects in. And let's just see if they are both here. If I go ahead and refresh this, you get to see actually both objects were here. So we're able to work with this now. So now both objects are within our driven target. Now I want to get the driving source. So all I have to do is select what I want to drive these parameters or these objects. So I'm going to select that. And then I'm just going to hit the refresh key here, or excuse me, the lock key. And with that lock key press, I can select anything, and this isn't going to update. If I do not have this locked, it's just going to update for each object that I have selected. Whoops. Now here, the process is pretty simple. We need to select which parameters we want to link. In this case, I'm just going to freeze my history here so it's a little easier to find my parameters here. So I'm going to go ahead and freeze M. And you can see now we have our transforms here. So I want to get my position in Y. So that's going to be, boom, right here. So I'm just going to I'm just going to select the object, and I'm just going to go ahead and just click or mark the position Y, and I want to affect the position or the rotation in Y for these objects. So I'm going to select rotation Y and rotation Y. Now it's important to select both objects. When you have multiple objects, it may be confusing. Since you'll see this one here and you'll just select and you think you're doing both, but you're actually just doing the one. So in this case, we have both selected now. We want to link we want to hit the link button to create a connection between our position and our rotations. And you'll notice that we'll get an F curve icon here with this little L. That means that we have a relationship here. So now let's go ahead and set some keys. So by default, I want this base position to be the base position for the eyes. So let's go ahead and hit set relative values. Well, let's actually just click here. It's going to open up the animation editor. You can see that there is no animation here as of yet. So if I were to go ahead and set relative values, and then let's go ahead and move the afro first. Important thing to know is you always want to move your driving source first, because if you move your driven target first, when you move your driving source, the driven target will go back to its original state. So if I just kind of show you this, so if I rotate the eyes first and then select the fro and start moving it, you're going to see that the eye is going to pop back. So you always want to move whatever's driving before whatever's being driven. So in this case, we'll pick the position where we want basically to set our keyframes. So this is going to be the position for the afro, and then we can see that this is, let's make this 5 units. So we have 5 units in Y. Will be, select our eyes. So undo that. Let's try it again. will be negative 50 units in Y. So let's go ahead and set relative values. So those are set. So now whenever I move my afro, you're going to see that there's going to be a connection between, or at least when I move it in Y, the eyes are going to rotate in Y as well. So you can see that that relationship has been set. And if we go ahead and look inside here, we now have a keyframe showing that information. So whenever, if we go ahead and select this value, you can see that whenever frame 5 or the position 5 in Y here is hit, the value will be negative 50. If we want to scale that up, we can do so. Whoops, let me undo that. So if we want this to be, instead of negative 50, we want it to be, I don't know, well, instead of actually scaling it, if we bring this down to 2, yeah, that should be a little better. So whenever this hits 2, it will hit 50. So then you'll see the eyes will rotate a little faster here. At least that one eye will. So you can see how much faster that's going. And we just generated an offset there. So that's the parameter connection editor.